That's it. Starter calls him in. Off and racing. The Goffs Punchestown sale 4-year-old Geldings Maiden. 13 fences to take in just over the 2 circuits in this contest. At the off down in the betting ring, they're showing 2-1 and favoured about Lead Officer, who's been a bit uneasy, having drifted from 6-4, and he's prominent. Lead Officer's right up there with Crystal Wings as they come to the first fence. Another one not too far away then in the white and navy silks. That's Busy Away. All over the first safely. Back marker is the solitary grey in this contest. That's on the playlist. So through the winning post and 12 more fences to be taken. And in the two-tone blue, Lead Officer shares the lead with Crystal Wings as they come now to the second fence. Coming to it in third place is Ain't No Saint, followed in fourth then by Rob James on Shadow of Dawn. Back then to find in fifth place is the local Waterford runner. That's Lakefield for the Powers. After this group of 5, then there's a break of another 4 or 5 lengths to the other 5 runners, and they include the 2 stablemates, the Greater Fool and Wait Till You Hear. Also held up then is Busy Away, and the 2 at the rear of the field, the Chestnut, the High Stool, and our back marker on the playlist. So there must be a dozen lengths top to tail as they advance into the back straight for the first time. And going to the front now, Barry Stone aboard Crystal Wings in the yellow jacket, just with a small advantage from Finney Maguire, who's aboard Lead Officer in second place as they come to this one. And Rob James also moving up there in the light blue on Shadow of Dawn and away from the fence. Shadow of Dawn now has come through into second place, just behind Crystal Wings as lead officers back to third. 4 and 5 are Lakefield and Ain't No Saint as they jump the middle fence down the back. Breaking the field then to find the Greater Fool, who is ahead of the likes of Busy Away. Still held up is Wait Till You Hear, and the 2 who whipped them in through the first mile are the High Stool and on the playlist. They go to fence number 3 in the back straight of the 3 fences on this line, and just about in front rising at this one is Crystal Wings. So Crystal Wings from Shadow of Dawn, ridden and trained here by Rob James, tucked away then a couple of lengths off them in third position. That's Lead Officer, who in turn is ahead of Ain't No Saint and Lakefield, and then a few lengths to the Greater Fool, Wait Till You Hear, followed through by Busy Away, and still at the back of the pack we've got the High Stool and on the playlist. So they travel across this bend for home for the completion of the first mile and a quarter or so. They'll soon be heading to the point from which the starter let them go. But 2 more fences before the winning post and then a complete lap to take. So this is the 8th last they race towards, and they have slackened off the gas a little, which has allowed the field to get closer to the leaders. So it's Crystal Wings down the inside for Barry Stone, Rob James a close second on Shadow of Dawn, and then Lead Officer will take this fence in third position. Over in fourth, a little bit sticky, that fence was Ain't No Saint for Pa King, who in turn is followed by Lakefield in the navy with the red hoop. Further back then to find to the Greater Fool. The grey horse on the playlist has picked up a few positions from the back as they come now to the one last next time. So in the 4-year-old Geldings Maiden at Easter 2026 here at Curraghmore, leading with a lap to go is Shadow of Dawn, just alongside with Crystal Wings. Hunting him up in third place is Lead Officer, and then Ain't No Saint alongside Lakefield. Continuing to make ground is on the playlist, who in turn is followed by the Greater Fool. And after that one on the inside is Busy Away, and the 2 back markers now are the High Stool, who's out the rear, and last of all, as they enter the final mile, is Wait Till You Hear. But all 10 who started still go, and they've all some sort of shot at this as Crystal Wings goes back to lead again on the level. So on the good spin on the flat of a couple of furlongs before they'll be taking the next fence, which will be 5 from the finish. Crystal Wings is a length and a bit in front. Second place is Shadow of Dawn. Just chivied along there for a stride or 2, and third place was Lead Officer. And then moving into fourth position is Lakefield, still poised fifth, yet to be set alight, is on the playlist as they take this next fence. So Crystal Wings out there in front all the time, along with Shadow of Dawn and Lead Officer, followed by Lakefield, and then Ain't No Saint on the playlist. The Greater Fool has 3 behind, and they include the High Stool, who's picked up a position, followed through then by last of the main group, Busy Away, and the one who's dropped out is Wait Till You Hear. So they race now into the final 5 furlongs or so, 3 fences to jump, and they're cranking the pace up. Crystal Wings galloping on in front here from Shadow of Dawn and Lead Officer as they go to the wings of the third last fence. Crystal Wings just in front and pings it from in second place, coming back to challenge for the second position. We've got Lead Officer alongside Shadow of Dawn. On the playlist is trying to squeeze through into a close fourth, and then you've got Lakefield and Ain't No Saint and the Greater Fool. So as they really tighten up, leaving the back straight for the final time. 2 more to jump. Crystal Winks controls matters in front. Just a half a length is his advantage over Shadow of Dawn. Still third, a length and a half down is Lead Officer. And then on the playlist, also improving, Brian Dunleavy aboard the Greater Fool in the purple silks. In behind this one, weakening out of it are Lakefield and Ain't No Saint. They drive on now to the second last fence. And as they come to it, Crystal Wings is now taken on up the centre by Lead Officer, but still there with a Shadow of Dawn, who's on the outside, and on the playlist who's weakening now back and forth. But now it's the Fogarty horse under Finney Maguire going to the front. Lead Officer, Crystal Wings is trying to make a race of it. They go on from back in third place is Shadow of Dawn. They're really flying down to the last. Crystal Wings coming back at Lead Officer, but he missed it, and Lead Officer came away from it full of running, and that's going to be decisive. Lead Officer under Finney Maguire gets the better of a good battle with Crystal Wings. That final fence was critical in the end. They came clear from in third place with Shadow of Dawn, then Lakefield, and on the playlist.
The result of the second race of the afternoon, the Goffs 4yo Geldings Maiden. First, number 8. Second, number 30. Number 12 was third. And number 32 was fourth. The distances, 2 lengths, 10 lengths, and 3.5 lengths.